My name's Richard Mumford. I'm with Climbing Innovations. I recently came back from a competition and I was very much inspired by BJ Brock. He was very enthusiastic about the Alpine Butterfly and using it as a running knot or running Alpine Butterfly. And then most recently there's been another discussion about the Bowline, and I've been involved in those discussions before, and it kind of goes south sometimes because I'm not a real fan of the Bowline for life support. And being innovative is sometimes like being an ice-breaking ship. And when you're out breaking ice, you're moving forward, and so that's what we're going to try to do. So I am going to get right into the controversy of the Bowline versus the Alpine Butterfly. And we're going to break it. We're going to break the knots, and we're going to compare those two the best I can. When I came back from that video, or from that competition, I got involved in looking up the Alpine Butterfly a little more. I use it all the time. It's one of the knots that I always use, but I just have not used it as a follow through or a running Alpine Butterfly. I usually use hardware with it, and you know, if you can use a knot without hardware, that's even better, but sometimes the hardware is very appropriate. So I came back and started to dig into that a little bit. I didn't see exactly how BJ was tying it because I was behind his back and I couldn't see that. So BJ, if this is exactly the way you taught it, I apologize. You know, sometimes you won't tie a knot for a while, and you want it to be easy to remember and to be something that you do by association. So as I started to dissect that knot, I came up with what I think is pretty good association that makes the knot very easy to tie and remember. And again, I'm going to be pounding on the Bowline. I almost lost a friend because he made an error with the Bowline, and he's a smart guy. I mean, he's a good climber and a smart guy. And to see him laying at the base of the tree after using that Bowline, just, you know, I've done a couple videos on it and I've taken a lot of heat because of it. So let the chips fall where they may, but we're going to do the Alpine Butterfly and the Bowline today. So there's a lot of ways to tie an Alpine Butterfly, and this is my favorite way to tie it. I mean, it's just the palm method, but it couldn't be faster and easier than that. Now, one point I'll make before I start dissecting this is whenever you tie, dress, set, always verify. The Alpine Butterfly is so easy because it'll have a cross on this side and a parallel line on the other side. Now, when I say other side, which is that? It can vary. It depends on how you dress it. If you tie, dress, and set it, and you have, notice I haven't been messing with the other side, right? I've tied, dressed, and set it, and now I have the parallel on this side. The other side is going to have a cross. Now sometimes that cross will be a little bit out of sorts, but it will have a cross. So there's the cross, and there's the parallel lines. All right, if I dress it again and I put the parallel, or put the cross on this side, well, it has to do with how you dress and set it. Dress and set it and verify it. There's the cross, so on the back side, parallel again. It's just a beautiful knot in that it is easy to verify. It can be pulled in either direction, or it can be pulled in this direction. Makes a great anchor knot. It's just, to me, a beautiful knot. And the more that I've played with it, the more that I like it. So we're going to take it apart and figure out how to make it a great follow-through alpine butterfly or a running alpine butterfly. So before I go on, I'm going to demonstrate again this method of tying it. And like I said, there's so many different ways of tying this. Find one that you like. But all I do, this is the palm method, comes up over my palm, back over my palm. This one goes around, comes through. Tied, dressed, set, and verified. Now that being said, if you want a bigger loop, just make your loops bigger. Tied, dressed, set. Bigger loop, cross, parallel. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is get the Alpine Butterfly follow through or running Alpine Butterfly in our heads where it is really easy. Before I do that though, everybody when they learn, at least I think most people, when you learn to climb on a Blake's hitch, you put a safety knot in there, right? A lot of guys, if you're sending some gear up the tree, if you're putting a cambium saver on this part of your rope and you want to pull it up the tree, what do? We put in an overhand, a slippery overhand knot, right? So the cambium saver would be here, you pull it up to the tree, when it gets up there, you pull out your overhand, your slippery overhand knot. And again, I tie this all the time. It's one of those that I always tie. It's so easy to tie. So easy to tie. If you were putting some gear on there, if you got a little weight on the tail, you put some gear in there and it goes up the tree. So that's the slippery overhand knot. And then what I realized was that every time I did that, I was tying more than 50% of the Alpine Butterfly. That is the Alpine Butterfly. That's the more than the first half of it. So we're going to take, and again, that is way too easy. Always tie it. It's just a left overhand loop, slippery overhand knot. But if I want to put this around an object, you know, right now I can put it around the object. Okay, that's kind of a no-brainer. But if I wanted to put it around an object, slip it out of that and put it right back before you can forget where it came from. Slip it around, put it around the object, and there you go. Now notice when I've done that, there's a hole right there, right? And for those of you that love the bowline so much and you like that rabbit out of the hole, snake out of the hole thing, there he comes. There's your guy. Bowline enthusiast, there you go. So there's your guy. He comes up and he doesn't like what he sees. So what's happened? We've created another hole right there. So he's going to go down through that hole. All right. Shazam. There is your Alpine Butterfly around an object. That object can be a tree, can be a log, it can be a ring. It makes a great orientation for putting it around a ring if you want to send a ring up for a cinched anchor. And again, it's tied, dressed, set, and verified. There's the parallel lines and there's the cross lines. So we're going to do this one as a running Alpine Butterfly. Again, so easy. Left overhand loop. I've tied my marlin spike, half hitch, slippery overhand, All right, so this is gonna come out. Before I forget where it came from, it goes around my line and goes back in, right? And I can instantly adjust how big I want that loop. So again, there's that hole, comes up through the hole, and in so doing, it creates another hole. Tie, dress, and set. Parallel lines, it's got the cross, and it is a running, see how it runs, see how it runs, a running Alpine Butterfly. Okay, we'll put it around a ring. There's my half hitch. Loop comes out, ring goes on. Before I forget where it went, I put it right back in there. There's my hole. Little snake comes up out of the hole, doesn't like what he sees, goes back in. Tied, dressed, and set. Parallel lines, cross on a ring. Alright, we're doing this with Arborplex. It's a 16 braid nylon core and cover. I believe it's got an 8,100 pound breaking strength. So we're going to do an Alpine Butterfly to an Alpine Butterfly, a Bowline to a Bowline, a Alpine Butterfly to a Bowline. We're going to pull an Alpine Butterfly from both sides and see what happens. Don't know why anybody would do this, but we're going to try to just pull the loop open on both the Bowline and the Alpine Butterfly. And then we will pull an Alpine Butterfly on a Sonai and a Bowline on a Sonai. These ropes with my Sonais, the rope is I don't know, a few years old, I guess. It's been used some, and it's breaking at about 6,700 pounds, so just under 7,000 pounds. This is the Bowline with a sewn eye at the other end. I don't think I mentioned it before, but these are 12mm pins. And there's the Bowline. I've tied it and dressed it. The Arborplex is pretty solid rope, so sometimes it's kind of hard to... Okay, break that bugger. Bowline guys will like that because it broke at 4,720 pounds. And there's that end. And there's that end. So it pretty much just untied itself and broke right there. So good strength. Okay, this is an Alpine Butterfly to an Alpine Butterfly.
this one again broke right where you'd expect it to break. Okay, this is a Bowline to Bowline. $612 pounds, and there it is. Okay, this is the Bowline to the Alpine Butterfly pull-off, and I have no doubt in my mind that the Bowline will win. And that's what the Bowline looks like. And that's what the Alpine Butterfly looks like. Again, breaking right at the throat, where you'd expect. And the Bowline is the winner when it comes to strength. £4,000, and I can still pull that apart. And that little baby is tight. If you're looking for strength because you're going to exceed the safe working load on your line, go with a Bowline. This is more of just something to consider. A lot of times you'll hear guys say, yeah, I've got a damaged rope, so I'm going to tie an Alpine Butterfly and isolate the damaged part. Alright, so this rope is 8,100 pounds, and like I said, it's been breaking at about 6,700 pounds. So what if we had some damage on the rope right there and we wanted to isolate it? What kind of strength are we going to get out of that? So that broke at 3,660 pounds, so 3,660 pounds. And there's what one end looks like, and there's what the other end looks like. So again, it breaks where it exits the knot, and 3,600 pounds. So you would have to have a pretty compromised piece of rope. Again, your knot's taking 50% or so out of the rope. So if you're talking about just having a strand or two, or 3 or 4, probably not worth it. Okay, so there's an Alpine Butterfly. It's just the Alpine Butterfly loop. You'd never do this. But let's just see how that pulls apart. Wow, so that was actually quite interesting to me. look at that, the Alpine Butterfly rolled around a bunch of times, but it held. Alright, so there's a bowline. Make a good for all you bowling folks. No Yosemites, no anything. Man, my poor quickie. Not so quick anymore. Alright. Now again, you'd never do that to a loop, but it was just kind of interesting how that Alpine Butterfly held the crap out of it. Once again in slow motion, a half hitch. All right, we'll do this in slow motion. Okay, once again in slow motion. We tie an overhand, slippery half hitch. Do it all. Oh. Do it all the time. There's the loop. Put the loop around something. Alright, I like that. There's, keep forgetting to go slow motion. There's the hole. Comes up through the hole. Creates another loop. Goes through that loop. Back into the hole. To keep all of the Alpine, or keep all of the bowling people happy. And we'll put the parallel lines there. Parallel lines. Cross Alpine Butterfly around an object.